Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It's that time once again. Mild's Culture Plate. I'm your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it's 6 p.m. Central, 4/20, 2024, April 20th, Saturday. And we have an interesting show for you folks, as always. First off, I'm going to say that I'm not doing a whiskey stream tonight. Fortunately, going to go out and celebrate Hitler's birthday. Uh, no, I'm just kidding. No, actually, I am going to a party later, and I'm not going to be drinking because I'm going to be the designated driver. So I'm not going to be doing any drinking tonight. I know the whiskey part of the stream is, something you folks look forward to because definitely it loosens up my lips and gets me ranting. But trust me, there is plenty of shit to rant about, even if I'm not drunk. I'll still give you a shout out and show your chat on screen. I'm going to drink some water here, still go to toast you folks. So, it'll be virtual whiskey here with the water. So cheers and welcome anybody that's out there. Okay, we've got Sanglant86 in the chat over on Rumble saying ping pong chong. Hey, I almost ate it PP chongs earlier, whatever it's called. But no, I decided to have brunch elsewhere. Yes. So yeah, cheers to you, Sanglant. Good seeing you. I won't waste any time because if I have time, I might try to squeeze some things in. I'm a forgetful person though. So if we get to the love don't judge stuff and I haven't mentioned other things I wanted to squeeze in, please remind me. But let's go ahead and get started with our stories of the day. First off, I'm often asked, what does it harm? Why does it matter to you if oppressed people commit crimes against big corporations, right? We're told this frequently, why does it matter to you if poor people steal from rich people? And, during the BLM riots, a lot of people were making excuses for the targets burning down, for the many of large chain stores being burnt down, and they were saying, "Well, it's all insured. Why are you worried about it?" Well, here's a good reason to worry about it. We got two more insurance companies announce plans to leave California. Two more insurance companies have announced plans to withdraw from the insurance market in California. According to filings from the state's Department of Insurance, Tokio Marine America Insurance Company and Trans-Pacific Insurance Company said they would both stop offering homeowners and personal umbrella insurance in the Golden State. Both entities are subsidiaries of Tokio Marine Holdings, a Japanese company. So, for one, good riddance. But still, together, the companies provide 12,556 homeowner insurance policies with 11.3 million in premiums. According to filings, Tokyo Marine also has 2,732 personal umbrella policies for liability worth about $400,000. Those impacted will receive non-renewal notices beginning on July 1st. The proposed effective date for these filings will take place on August 1st, Neither company disclosed the reason behind their withdrawal in the documents, but KTLA reached out to Tokyo Marine and didn't receive a response in time for publication. They join a growing list of insurance companies announcing plans to withdraw or limit business in the Golden State, making it harder for residents to obtain coverage. In March, State Farm announced plans to not renew 72,000 policies in California, impacting property insurance and commercial apartment policies. Last year, the company also announced it would stop accepting new insurance applications for all business and personal property in California. Since then, companies like Allstate, Farmers, and The Hartford have announced similar moves. So there we go, folks. Good luck finding insurance in the crime-ridden hellhole known as California, because they're all saying, "No, fuck this. Peace out." Property values are overinflated, crime rates are too high, and of course, you have all the natural disasters from earthquakes to mudslides to you name it. So we have a twist in the conjoined twins marriage saga. Single 86 says food deserts used to be a problem. Now they're a feature. Yes. Good luck. Good luck even opening a grocery store now because you got to have property insurance. It's insanity. And like I said, if properties are overvalued, then you got to pay more in property tax. And now you're going to have insurance overvalued because there's going to be only a handful of insurance companies colluding to raise the prices. Anyway, the conjoined twins. Abby Hensel's husband's paternity test results revealed at a dramatic court hearing. You are not the father. The husband of celebrity conjoined twin Abby Hensel has been cleared in a paternity case which accused him of fathering another woman's child. Former Army medic Josh Bowling, recently revealed to have married Hensel, shares a body with twin sister Brittany in 2021, but almost 2 years later, he was hit with a suit claiming he may have fathered a 3-year-old with his ex wife. In a dramatic moment reminiscent of talk show Maury Friday, Minnesota District Court in Washington County heard the results of a genetic test to report to determine the father of Annika Bowling's daughter. The lawyer for another man admitted his client was found to be the dad from the test. That's Gavin Vanstall. Was entered into the court file on March 7th. It's not Mr. Bowling's child, it's my client's child, Vanstall's attorney told the court. I think all the parties agree that Mr. Vanstall should be educated father and Mr. Bowling should be discharged and taken off the birth certificate, Judge Siv Myenger ruled during a hearing on Friday before closing the courtroom to the public. I can grant that motion. Okay, so here's him and his ex-wife. So he went from, chubby chasing to whatever you would call this. Neither Annika Joshua Vanstall nor the Hinstel twins responded to the Post's request for comment. The bombshell lawsuit was filed in October 2023, almost 2 years after Joshua and Abby, the left side twin, secretly wed. So yeah, we got the left side twin here. The right one's got a little bit of more of a mangled face. So he chose the left. He chose the left. No hate though. No hate though. Following revelation of the marriage, Abby and Brittany wrote on TikTok, "The internet is extra loud today, blah, 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 blah." Okay, yeah, we already covered all that a couple weeks back. Okay, yeah, it's just talking about the twins. So there's that, folks. All right, so that's going to do it for some of the headlines. Oh, didn't quite mean to do that. Now I'm going to talk about the House of Representatives, as you saw by the little preview you just got on the screen. Now I'm going to talk about the United States House of Representatives. And look, Speaker Mike Johnson has went back on every promise he made to the American people and the Republican Party. Speaker Mike Johnson is a piece of shit. I'll just come right out and say it. He is a piece of shit. Okay, so first we have this, and I'm not gonna read this, but first, today, 1:33 p.m. Eastern, House passes the TikTok ban, and it's predicted to be lubed up right through the Senate and be rammed right up our ass. Just like earlier this week, I believe it was yesterday or maybe today, the House also voted for Ukraine funding. Now, mind you, remember the promise that Speaker Johnson made the multiple promises. First of all, that all Republicans would have at least 3 days to read bills. He's went back on that several times now. You had him claiming support for the Constitution, and then you had the FISA 702 pass last week, granting the government to just ignore the Fourth Amendment and spy on American citizens. And now you have, hey, we got Billdozer 74 over in on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, brother. Sorry, not drinking whiskey today, but cheers anyway. Going to be going to a party tonight, a 420 party tonight. But I'm not going to be partaking in any 420 activities. And so now we have this foreign aid, right? This funding of foreign wars. They probably did. They probably did. Rules for thee and not for me. That's the name of politics in America. Hey, welcome back, man. I hope you had fun with the family. So one of the promises Speaker Johnson made when he was first voted on as speaker was that there would be no funding for foreign wars before there was funding for our border. And of course, today that is not the case. We have a new Ukraine aid package that has now passed the House, and just like the TikTok bill, will be lubed through the Senate. You also have this video of Speaker Johnson on Newsmax declaring his support for Israel yet again.
Of course, for those of us who are believers, it's a biblical admonition to stand with Israel. We will, and they will prevail as long as they're with them. And this is an important, very important symbolic gesture and a very important replenishment of their stockpiles, for example, of the Iron Dome. The reason they shot down all those drones and missiles in the last attack by Iran is because we assisted with that. I think the American people understand the importance of that.
We got
Israel
involved.
is a critical
Yes,
ally
we got
of ours.
involved.
And I think most people understand the necessity of this funding.
So this is Speaker Johnson just right out admitting, that Israel would have to fight its own fights if we weren't involved. Even though you have Ben Shapiro saying, Israel can take care of herself. They don't need America's help, and then turn right around and saying, yeah, we have to help Israel. Now you have Speaker Johnson saying, no, we need to take care of America's interests first, and now saying, oh no, Israel would not be able to defend herself without the United States, that the Iron Dome did its job only because the United States helps supply the ammunition for the Iron Dome. All right.
They're fighting for their very existence. They're the only stable democracy in the Middle East. I mean, of course, for those of us who are believers, it's a biblical admonition to stand with Israel. We will.
Okay, well, you're paid to represent the American people, not the Bible. I mean, a lot of conservatives would say that, supporting the Bible is supporting America, but America first, literally America first, that's your job. If you want to be Bible first, step down, leave Congress, and go start a church. I'm being deadly serious. Nobody wants your wars. Lockheed Martin, Israeli politicians, Ukrainian politicians, they're the only ones who want this. 70% of people are against the foreign wars, or at least against it enough to where we want our border secured before their border.
And they will prevail as long as they're with them. And this is an important, very important symbolic gesture and a very important replenishment of their stockpiles, for example, of the Iron Dome. The reason they shot down all those drones and missiles in the last attack by Iran is because we assisted.
Oh yeah, it's only
that.
31 seconds. Okay, so yeah, I just let that play over again. So yeah, and so thankfully we do have a little bit of resistance. We now have 3 Republicans in the House that have signed on for a motion to remove Mike Johnson. Now, it only takes one, but you will need to get enough votes to remove him and then get enough votes to seat a new speaker. And so, yeah, Paul Gosar announced Friday he's joining a motion to vacate House Speaker Mike Johnson. And I'm not going to get too much into this, but Gosar joins Marjorie Taylor Greene. And let me just say, this is one thing I'm not necessarily covering on the show today, but is definitely something to look into. Right now, there are a lot of people on Twitter, on X, and in political spheres that are now playing on other Congress people, calling Marjorie Taylor Greene um, Moscow Marjorie, saying that her opposition to foreign funding is rooted in a love for Russia. And so it's the usual propaganda, right? Now again, I'm not some Marjorie Taylor Greene simp, but yeah, calling her Moscow Marge because you want to support Ukraine is a little ridiculous. And then of course Thomas Massey of Kentucky, and definitely 90% of what Thomas Massey does in Congress I'm supportive of. Probably more than 90%. What I've seen of him, I support pretty much everything that I've seen go down. So as part of this, Marjorie Taylor Greene was on Bannon's War Room over on Lindell TV. Spending war isn't a blessing to anyone but arms dealers. Yes, exactly. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on Steve Bannon's War Room, and she was asked if she's worried about how a vote might go for a new speaker. And we'll play a little bit of that here.
I want you to make the case. Our audience obviously supports what you're doing with Speaker Johnson. Their big hangup is the onslaught in media and even conservative media of the Dusty Johnson school of thought, which is you're going to put Hakeem Jeffries in charge. Make your case now to the Warren Posse of why you've thought this through, and that's not going to, before you bring this and gather more co-sponsors, that's not going to be a risk.
You know, it's not a risk because we have a Republican majority, and there is not a single Republican here that's going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries. You want to know why? They're all up for re-election. Even if they're retiring, they do not want to go out voting for Hakeem Jeffries. I don't think it's going to happen. And
I want you to make the case.
Okay, so she makes the case essentially that in an election year, when Republicans have a slim majority, not a single Republican wants to go back to their constituents having cast a vote for Hakeem Jeffries. So this is a chance. I mean, if Marjorie's correct, and if other Republicans can get on board, it may take another 20 ballots, but we could have a new Speaker of the House, one that's not owned by special interests in the military-industrial complex. Bill Dozer says he disagrees. Yeah, I think it's dangerous. I definitely think it's risky, and I do think, yes, there are some who don't give a fuck, and I do think there are some Republicans out there who, I mean, we've already had 3 or 4 of them say they're going to retire, and allow essentially a Democrat governor to replace them with whoever they choose. Or those were senators, right? Still, you have this situation where if they're not planning on running for re-election, they may just burn the house down. They may just burn the house down. And so, yeah, I do think it's a risk. And also, after seeing, I was a tertiary supporter of Bernie Sanders before he ran for president, right? He was sort of one of my favorite senators because at least he would call out the big bankers. At least he would call out the big banks. And he signed on to Ron Paul's audit the Fed bills until it was time for a vote. And then he met with Barack Obama in private and then voted that bill down. Yes, Sanglant, some commies claim that to be conservative. Yeah. Yeah, this is the problem with partisan politics is you do have these swing states where these politicians will go back and say, "Yeah, it's conservative for me to reach across the aisle and make a deal for the quote unquote good of the country, for the quote unquote good of the world," especially in these issues like Ukraine and Israel. One moment, real quick. Shout out to my real life buddy Mike out there. All right, so here we go. One more news story here. Yeah, Bill Dozer says Bernie sold out. Yep. Several times over. Bernie Sanders was kicked off the commune. Yep. Okay, so here we have Biden sends message to China and working class voters with a tariff threat. During his 3+ years in office, President Biden has reversed Trump's actions on immigration, climate change, and a long list of other areas. Here's another story I'm not covering today. Look into the Title IX situation as it develops. President Biden has issued new rules on Title IX, essentially reclassifying sex as gender and therefore reaffirming transgenders' rights as women's rights. Hey, we got Shut Up I Can Cook over there on YouTube. Welcome. Good seeing you. I see that you're sleepy. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily hang in the chat, but we do appreciate you making an appearance. Welcome and cheers. Have a good rest. All right. Oh, new laptop. All right. Well, hopefully it's a good one. So yeah, yet higher tariffs imposed on Chinese imports remain. Well, heck yeah, Biden. Not only has Biden left in place Trump's tariffs on some $300 billion of Chinese goods, this week he threatened to triple a 7.5% tariff rate on China steel and aluminum up to 25%. Up to 25%. Now here's the thing. I don't have it handy here, but there is USA Today. You can check my own Twitter. I posted a meme earlier. The same USA Today that's writing this article also had to post how dangerous it was that Donald Trump was proposing a 25% tariff on Chinese steel. The move appears as much about the elections as economics, according to trade experts. Biden is sending a signal to the Steelworkers Union in an appeal to working class voters that he hears their complaints that China holds an unfair advantage in steel competition, and Biden is putting China on notice for what the Biden administration calls Chinese manufacturing overcapacity, producing more products, including steel, than its demand domestically or the world can absorb, flooding global markets at artificially low prices. Hey, we got Kinsey fam over on Rumble. Welcome, cheers, good seeing you. Thank you for stopping by. Part of it is the election, and part of it is to signal to China that we are watching them carefully for risks of overcapacity, not only in steel but other sectors, said Doug Redeker, a senior fellow in the Global Economy and Development Program at Brookings Institution. Okay, let's see. We got China's too large for the rest of the world, Yellen says. So basically, Yellen repeating those election year politics at play. Same old. This is long-winded ways of just repeating the same things they said over and over again. Chinese imports account for less than 1% of steel in the U.S. The White House doesn't anticipate an impact on inflation, which has remained stubborn in recent months. Well, yes, because because not all price increases are inflation. Somebody tell the USA Today, as Joey Garrison, that not all price increases are inflation. Yeah, it may impact the price, but it's not going to impact inflation. Okay. So enough about that propaganda. John Willis Booth hiding in the drapery. What, with Janet Yellen there? You talking about this? Oh, okay. Yeah, you got Abe Lincoln. Okay. Got Abe Lincoln in China. Oh my God. Yeah, that is a creepy photo. I didn't even notice that. Creepy photo. Okay, so it's 6:26. Let's get into bad influencer behavior. So this has went kind of viral. We got to hear why this chick can't find a job.
So I wanted to come on here and talk about something that is really starting to annoy me. So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx. You applied for a job at TJ Maxx. Okay.
A few weeks ago, and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me some
Ma'am, have you tried not exposing your Satan chest tattoo
automated email. So I went
or your demonic spider neck tattoo?
in today and
Neck and jaw tattoo, rather.
I was like, so what was the reason I
Here we
didn't get hired? And she was like, oh, like you just like don't have enough experience. There was candidates that had like more experience than you. And, you know, I asked her if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos.
Yes, exactly. I mean, yes, indeed. And people who have clients who aren't tattooed freaks, people who have customers that might be disgusted. Cyclin 86 says she should have tried Spencer's Gifts. That's probably where she was fired from. Try GameStop.
She said that
I heard GameStop hires degenerates. Which, speaking of GameStop and degenerates, Camelot 331 raced at Talladega. Took home 17th place, top 20 finish. Hey, we got Neurodivergent one over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Good having you in the chat. Good having you. Okay, so let's hear why they told her it was not for her tattoos. Wink, wink.
wasn't the reason. I don't feel like that's true, but whatever, I'll leave it at that. So I'm just wondering.
Okay, you don't think that's true, but you're about to go on another 30-second rant here. Almost. Yeah, 30-second rant here. Let's hear what else you think it might be.
Wondering how like teenagers and young adults who haven't had a job before, how are they supposed to get employed if these places are only hiring people with experience? So
Okay, experience doing what? You know, see, this is the key, right? This is literally the key. Experience doing what? Right? Experience looking like a freak? No, the idea is, no, there are places like McDonald's and Sonic and you know, the newspaper where you can get a job without experience. And that gives you experience in a workplace environment. It gives you experience handling cash. It gives you experience being face to face with customers. Then you work a good 3 to 6 months at that job, build up a work experience of showing up on time, doing your fucking job, and getting a good recommendation from the managers and bosses there and your coworkers. Then you put that shit in your resume and you go work at a place like TJ Maxx, who expects people to be on time. Yes, Sanglant. What minimum wage was for. Yes, you work a minimum wage shit job to build workplace experience. If you don't have experience for being a cashier at fucking TJ Maxx, then that means TJ Maxx, they're not looking for skilled workers. When they say experience, they just want you to have some work history. They just want to know that you have a history of showing up on time for a fucking job. And when you say it's not your tattoos, when they tell you it's not your tattoos, what they're telling you is I look at you and your tattoos and you look like someone who makes bad decisions, like getting really drunk when you're supposed to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you're willing to put tattoos on your face, then you might make bad decisions when you're drunk. And we don't want that. Neurovirgin one, but they need a living wage. Saying that I've seen her eat a snake, no, at a carnival. Oh, but this is Gen Z, man. This is Gen Z. The Gen Z entitlement. Entitlement. And now, I might have to do a whole damn show on the word entitlement because we like to cover words and concepts. But this idea of everyone deserves a job. Yeah, everyone does deserve a job, but nobody should have to give a job to you. Yes, all human beings should have an income of some sort. But you know what? Maybe go work at a tattoo parlor sweeping floors. Maybe go work at one of those freaky hair salons where they do all the multicolored lesbian hair, right? And offer to sweep the floor for them just to make some ends meet. You had that girl on the last show was working 4 jobs allegedly and doing 21 hours of school a week or 21 credits during her semester and yet still had time for 4 jobs. I'm sure there are these shit jobs that don't pay shit, but you get some experience and they might hire people with god awful demon tattoos and Satan on their cleavage.
Younger people just can't get a job because they haven't worked enough.
No,
So
younger
like
people
they'll deny a 16-year-old a job because they don't have enough work experience. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, welcome to Starbucks. Welcome to Starbucks. Can I take your order? That's literally all it takes. Now, you may be wondering, what's the deal with the title of the show today, Mild? And I always like to save the title story for the middle. You may be familiar with a certain online influencer named Sydney Watson. She is currently in a lawsuit against Blaze Media, and over the past several weeks has had a lot to say about men's rights influencers on the internet, in particularly the quote red pill. Well, she's got a new little rant here for a minute 30 seconds that I just felt the need to break down here.
I absolutely hate the red pill movement. And as time has gone on
And the more you talk, the more the red pill movement hates you as well. But let's keep going.
and this movement has grown in size and in popularity, what is becoming more and more clear to me is that
Well, gee, I wonder why it would be growing in size and popularity. Could it be that we genuinely do have a crisis in our dating system? It's real easy for guys like the Quartering or Nick Ricada or some of these influencers who have been married for several years, right? Who've been married for a generation. I could even be part of that, right? I've been in the dating world, but I haven't had to, right? I haven't had to get into the dating world for attachment to women. And yeah, there are a lot of these people who have not had to see what men have to go through in the dating world. So, gee, I wonder why a whole slew of young men on the internet would be turning to people for advice to help them with a logically inconsistent interaction with their society, to try to logically interact with women in the dating space. I mean, it's literally, you could write PhD. You could become a PhD. You could do all the studying that you would do to become a doctor. You could study it for that many hours, right? You could have hands-on experience interning in the middle of the dating market. And the best you could hope for is to be as smart as the YouTube channel Homath and get fucking really lucky. Like Homath admits, I just got lucky, man. I don't know what to say to you. I mean, all you could do is to be the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself. And that's the message Red Pillars say, is just be the best you can be and do what you can do. We're about to get into that here in just a minute, Neurodivergent One. And so this idea that, oh, they might be popular with young men. Well, gee, I wonder fucking why.
Predatory people, predatory leaders at the top of this movement are taking advantage of the fact that there's a lot of really, really lost men in society
There
who
we
do
go.
require direction, who do require
Yes.
role models, who do
Yes.
require some assistance when
Yes.
it comes to courting the opposite sex and having happy, healthy relationships with the opposite sex. But what they're instead getting is unfiltered anti-female rhetoric.
Okay, well, no. No, they're getting a realistic outlook on what they can genuinely expect in the dating pool, which are really, really bad men who have really, really simpish behavior, and really, really bad women who are so used to simpish behavior by men that they don't fucking know what they want. And so, yeah, what you think is anti-women rhetoric is actually anti-man rhetoric. We're shitting on the men for being simps and propping up these hoes on pedestals and ruining the dating market. And the best we can hope for is to teach them simps the lesson not to do that. And the only way to show them that is to say, you look at the thing you put on a pedestal. She is no queen. That's not anti-female. That is humanizing a sexualized being. Now, again, I don't claim to be a leader of the red pill movement, and she's about to make an argument. She's about to make an argument that the problem is that there are a lot of people who are utilizing this to make money. The grifting is a problem in any online community. But the proof is in the pudding. Is what they're saying, does it have an element of truth to it? Now, granted, there's definitely and definitely, you know, old Murphy Beard had his opinions about Sydney Watson. And he definitely was grifting on the red pill idea of improving oneself. So she's right. There are some grifters out there, and you have to watch out for them. You have to watch out who you're giving your money to and why and what they're doing with it. Now, I've always said, give money to truth tellers and help amplify their platform. But people who are, what she's about to say is buy my program, whatever. Well, you got to see, is the program worth an actual purchase, or is this just a grift? And the idea is yeah, there are a lot of stupid simps out there who think that the key to getting out of their simping. I said symptom. To get out of their simping is to support their favorite online people and consume more of their content. And I'm not saying it's not, but your results may vary.
And there is absolutely no way that that is going to have a net societal benefit. No way. And the irony is that the leaders of these ideological groups will say things like, oh, women are scum sucking road whores who are going to take all of your money.
And there it is, scum sucking road whores. Women are scum sucking road whores that are going to take all your money
and suck all of your wealth. They're all
okay, but you can't deny that those women exist. Are there scum sucking road whores who will take all your money? I mean, are those women literally out there? And are those women also on the internet getting these guys on the internet to simp for them and send them money? I mean, so far, your only argument is they've said some truthful things and asked for money for it. They must be as bad as women. Oh, by the way, saying bad things about women is bad. Well, what the fuck? Hypocrisy. Thy name is Sydney Watson.
gold diggers who are going to take your future gold from you while simultaneously asking you for money and asking you to buy their books and their programs and sign up to their courses that they know have no tangible real world benefits for you. They are the gold diggers. And instead of seeing this for
entertainment is of value, right? There's no tangible real world value for you. Well, okay. You are an online content creator, Sydney. You are an online content creator. Do you not want people to support your endeavors? Do you not want people to consume your content and pay for it? Shut up, I can cook. Mild gonna send me some money. No, actually, you could you could sign up to my good wife seminar. I'm gonna teach ladies what it takes to be a good wife. Only $49.99. You can cash app me. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a cash app. I don't ask for money. Look, I called out Pearl for being a grifter. I called out Jack Murphy for being a grifter. I have no problem calling it when I see it, but she's talking about a whole corner of the internet devoted to male improvement.
for what it is, people continue
When her whole shtick was, I'm going to be offended that people said icky things about women, and now I literally am going to sue the one place that gave me a job. And yes, the lawsuit's still going on. Going to sue the one place that gave me a job. I think the lawsuit's still going on. Let's look into that. Cindy Watson versus Blaze LLC. Dispute. Judge Paul Engelmeyer of Southern District, New York, held a well-reasonable term alleged. Nope. Okay, this is just her filing. I'm not seeing. Okay, I see a Blaze response. Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm assuming that it hasn't. But again, you notice, like, she booked herself. She was a booking employee. Hey, we got Cool Frog in the chat. Cheers and welcome over there on Rumble. Not drinking whiskey today, sorry, but cheers and welcome. Good having you by. No, apparently that case is not over with. So she's still seeking money from her former employer, and yet wants to call out the quote unquote gold diggers who have an audience on the internet.
to engage with this terrible group of people, this terrible ideology.
Terrible group of people. Why? Because they said nasty things about women. Oh, they must be terrible human beings.
That will ultimately keep you in a victimhood loop and ultimately mean that you will end up alone.
Jesus. Look, she was a booker. She booked some of those guests. She booked misogynists onto the show. And then wants to complain and sue for having to be in the same room with people who don't like women. Oh my God. Whiskey should never be unnecessary. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I view it as like one of the key components of the show. It helps me get rants going, but Sydney Watson got me spun up there for a minute, so I don't need the liquor. All right, folks. So more shitty influencer behavior. Neurodivergent one says maybe she could do a podcast with Jack Murphy. Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. I think she's realized that her relevancy kind of peaked. Her relevancy peaked with working with Elijah and then working with the quartering. And then I think she just realized that, hey, no, the internet's never gonna. Yeah, she's the one who brought Nick Rekieta on for their last episode. I mean, a lot of people view Nick Rekieta as a misogynist, but Cookie wants me to put my hair in a ponytail. Sorry, cannot do that. Don't have a ponytail holder down in my office right now. All right, so let's look at some more shitty influencer behavior. Here's a group of quote unquote plus size influencers removing black bear cubs from a tree to take selfies. These black bear cubs are terrified.
She's holding it.
Look how cute he is. I want to take him home and feed him and let him maul my face off.
The other guy's grabbing the other one.
So she can say, here, take my picture and put it all over media. I'm holding a black bear. No.
That's insane.
And
That's
there it is.
100%
Take the
what she's
picture.
doing. She's taking
Take the
pictures
picture.
of it.
Yeah.
And then the bear
Did
runs
she
off.
just drop it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's running, the poor little
It
thing.
wants to get
It
back
looks
to
like
its brother or sister. Oh, and it can't because it's too small.
Poor
And it
thing.
can't climb the
Put it
fence.
back. It's scared.
Okay. Yeah, they don't want to find out where Mama is. Anyway, so there's a follow-up to that video. The AP says, video of two bear cubs pulled from trees prompts a North Carolina wildlife investigation, but no charges. Video of people pulling two bear cubs from a tree in North Carolina as one person posed for a photo with one of the animals prompted an investigation, but a state wildlife official said Friday that no charges will be filed. North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission staff responded to a report of people harassing bear cubs at an Asheville apartment complex Tuesday. They were told that two cubs escaped after one bit a person. According to a commission news release, one cub was later found in a retention pond. It is illegal to capture and keep black bears in North Carolina, but these cubs were immediately released, and commission officers determined no charges should be filed. North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission have investigated this incident, and while dangerous and unfortunate, it appears to be an isolated event. Anna Gurney, Commission spokesperson, said officers and biologists spoke with the people involved about the importance of leaving bear cubs alone. Okay. Then I'm sure you folks have seen this here. This is a group of young girls. This is a group of young girls refusing to participate in the shot put after the recent court case has allowed transgenders in West Virginia to participate in school sports with women. So yeah, shout out to those 5 young girls. I believe this says it doesn't say what school they're from. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Riley Gaines shared the link. Several girls stepped out during a meet to protest the inclusion of transgender. The athlete in the case competes for the Bridgeport Middle School girls track and field team in Bridgeport, West Virginia. So shout out to the West Virginia track and field girls for saying, okay, you want to let men compete in our sport? We will not compete with them. There you go. See, they step in, they act like they're going to throw, and then they hand the ball off to the shot put up to the next person as a form of protest against the situation they have been put in as athletes. Okay, folks. So yeah, a few things I'm not covering on my show. I want to just mention briefly a couple things that I'm not covering, but I think you folks should look into because my short hour program, I can't cover it all. Definitely look into, there's a recent Joe Rogan Experience podcast where he's talking to Tucker Carlson. It looks like they got into several interesting topics, including what happened to Building 7 on 9/11, among other things. I guess there's a Bill Maher clip that's going around, an 8.5-minute clip that's going around where he talks about pedophiles in Hollywood. Feel free to check that out. And now I'm forgetting what the third thing was I wanted to bring up. I'm always going to forget something, folks. I'm always going to forget something or close a window and then watch. 30 minutes after I leave, I'm going to see something online, be like, damn, I meant to cover that. Always happens. Always happens. Okay, so it's time once again for Love Does Admonish. Love Does Admonish. If you're new to the show, there's this YouTube channel called Love Don't Judge. They do highlights of unique relationships with little twists where people have been harassed for the unique thing about their relationships. Now, it's always a different unique thing, but they don't want to be judged for it. And we here at Miles Culture Plate say, hey, no, there's some things you should be judged for. In the fact that you're coming out online and saying, hey, we're getting judged for this part of our relationship, instead of just realizing, people are ignorant and going on about your business. There's sometimes more to the story that we wonder, hey, there might just be a reason that we should judge and admonish you for what you're doing. And so we're going to check this episode out here. We're going to check this episode out here called People Think My Boyfriend Is My Son. Love Don't Judge.
This is 48-year-old Rachel. She fell in love with 25-year-old Alex.
I felt like it was meant to be.
Kindred spirits.
However, this couple caused quite a stir when they revealed they were dating.
The first video that we ever posted talking about tips for dating a cougar, within a day, I think it was at like 300,000 views.
And this age gap relationship.
Oh my God, no shit. Dating a cougar? I wonder how many little boys Google that.
Look alike. We've had sometimes people mistake us for mother and son or like brother and sister.
Oh
but
shit.
Also their own families.
My oldest son, Ben, was not as accepting as my youngest son.
It's the moment of truth. I found out, through my friend who texted me and I
Oh
didn't know what was
no.
going on. I was really confused.
Oh no.
I'm like, Mom, you're putting this out in public. You're a teacher.
Should I wear like a dress or?
Yes.
Austin, Texas. It has to be fucking Austin, Texas, right? Because, where else are you going to find degeneracy in Texas but Austin?
Dresses
dress?
about it. Black, white,
What about-
red.
Hey, we got
and
Salty Sand in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers
Yeah,
and welcome.
that would be okay.
I'm Rachel, and this is my boyfriend, Alex, who's 23 years younger than me.
Want to eat
Yes.
breakfast?
I'm ready.
I need coffee.
All right, breakfast time.
What was
this
that
is one
kind
of
of
the best things about our relationship
neck
that
thing?
Rachel can definitely attest to is that
He like
we help
rubbed
each
his
other as a
fingers down her
couple, you know,
neck.
like sometimes I'll cook,
Yep.
sometimes she'll cook,
That's true.
sometimes I'll clean, or
I
she'll
never
clean,
had that
vice
before.
versa.
It's nice.
We've been dating for
I don't know. I guess dudes do that. I mean, I guess that is kind of hot, and yeah, I guess it just creeps me out because she's so much older than him. But
almost 2 years now, since December of 2020, and God, it feels longer than that because we've gone through so much.
I was newly divorced, and a friend of mine convinced me to get on a dating app where I met Alex. I was very hesitant.
okay. Now wait a minute. Now most dating apps have an age range, right? Are you specifically setting your age range to pick up 23-year-old boys? Like, there's something sus about that.
Because he looked young to speak to him.
So initially, I didn't think anything.
Or maybe he's lying about his age on dating apps to nail cougars. I mean, he's got a whole YouTube channel about nailing a cougar. What is this? Where's my flowers? She brought me a stupid Lamborghini and not a McLaren, cheap bitch. Yeah. Whoa, was that a lot of salt he was pouring on there?
Anything of it. I was actually excited about the opportunity to be with a woman who is much older than me.
Then when we asked each other's age, he said he was 23, and I was like, oh no, he is way too young. I was like, no. But we'd already started talking, and we continued talking, and it just.
Oh, you see? Oh my God. See, okay, now go back to what Sydney Watson was saying about red pillars, what they advise. Look, that right there, that's a big red flag, right? When you hear a woman say, "Oh no, I said no, but," ladies and gentlemen, come on now. No, I don't want to go to the effing Cheesecake Factory, but you could take me shopping and buy an entire new wardrobe for 40 grand at least. Yeah. You think this kid has money? Maybe that's what she sees in him. The world may never know. I mean, they also say, men peak sexually in their mid 20s, and women peak sexually in their late 30s, early 40s. So maybe.
Felt so natural and easy, and so it just kind of snowballed into what it became.
There really is no difference in this relationship from a quote-unquote normal one, besides the fact that she happens to be older than me. And there's plenty of men that date much younger women, and like I said, no one bats an eye to it. But God forbid a older woman be with a younger man and be happy.
No one bats an eye to it. My brother, this very YouTube channel, Love Don't Judge, has like 50 videos about old dudes being with young women. What do you mean no one bats an eye to it? Everyone bats an eye to it. When someone is twice your age, we just did one of these like a month and a half ago here on this show. When somebody is like more than twice your age, everyone looks at it kind of creepy. 7+, folks.
So I had done TikTok before, and I'd stopped doing it after my divorce and everything.
And she forced us to
I
do
did
it.
not.
That's what happened. I was hesitant.
Yeah.
She created
Uh-huh.
it.
I did.
This was the first video that we ever posted. We had 0 followers.
Yeah.
And it was a quick little 15-second video talking about
Look,
tips for dating.
their first video, they're making fun of people thinking they're mom and son. They get off on it. I'm telling you, they get off on it. They probably do incest play in their private life.
Within a day, I think it was at 300,000 views.
Yes.
It was definitely a way crazier situation for Rachel because she was a high school teacher and all her students found out about it and they were all tagging each other in it.
A high school teacher. I mean, you are literally close to her students in age. Way closer than you are to her age. Like you have way more in common with these Gen Zers.
And freaking out like, oh my God, it's Miss Allen. And
commenting all
Oh, Spanish teacher
but then
even.
Rachel had the situation at school.
She's a Spanish teacher.
It was like, we need to delete this video.
Their biggest concern was that the parents and everybody thought he was one of my students. I was like, no. Like, no, he's not a student here.
So this is our
Well, yeah, but how long were you a Spanish teacher? Like could it be one of his peers? Could have been one of your students.
TikTok account. We're at 71,000 followers right now, and we've had a few, big videos.
Also, she said she did TikTok before her divorce. Big red flag.
This is our biggest one at 6.5 million. And the comments are what is really funny. Mommy is that.
Yeah, Salty saying, yeah, that's kind of the take I had with the other age gap. Love Don't Judges we've looked at is, yeah, I don't care if they're of legal age, but like I said, there's something about the way this is framed of people think he's my son, people think he's one of my students. Like they're flaunting this, right? They're flaunting the fact that people think that there's a more inappropriate than just the age gap, that they think that there's another inappropriate level to this, and they seem to be getting off on it. Sanglet 5 says PlayStation 5 secured.
Bro's dating his sister's mom. So cool for the dating, but the lady is trying too hard not to look her age. I mean, she's wearing what 14-year-olds wear nowadays.
One thing.
Well, okay, I got to address that, right? It's what I've always said. No matter what age a female is, she wants to look 22. She could be 14 or 41, and she wants to look 22. Now, granted, there are women who mature out of that, who become mothers, who become wives, who become women. But women who date, women who do online content, women, they all want to look 22. And when I say all, I'm speaking very generalized. There's definitely one or two live streamers you can think of out there who dress like an adult woman and not like a 20-year-old. But yes, generally, women in the dating or public sphere want to look 22 and will do everything they can. From age 14, they want to look 22. At age 22, they want to look 22. And at age 40, whatever this is, I think she said she was 47, also want to look 22.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's why Madonna looks like all fucking frog-faced right now.
We found this out from TikTok. People say that we look alike. We've had sometimes people mistake
Oh my
us
God.
for mother and son, or like brother and sister. We belong to this gym, and the guy who worked at the front desk was like mother and son.
You see Salty saying, see, if she's a Spanish teacher at a high school, now again, maybe she got the bag in the divorce. Maybe because she's got the teenage kids. They require, maybe she got the bag in the divorce, but if she's just doing this on a Spanish teacher's salary, I bet this kid's got some money somewhere.
I can already tell.
I can see it.
Yeah, I
y'all
can
look
see it.
just alike, and I was.
And we were just kind of laughed it off. And I think after about 2 weeks of us coming there, he started to slowly.
He started to realize we were not really mother and son. I have two sons. Ben, who is 23.
Okay. So again, you had someone in your audience that thought you were committing incest, and you played along. And eventually he found out. Well, why eventually? Most people would be like, oh, hell no. They would want to dispel that immediately.
And Joel, who is 19.
When my boys found out, my youngest is very kind of like Alex, actually. He reminds me a lot of Alex. He's very kind of carefree.
When we were in.
Yes, see, this is the one thing. I really hope that 5-10 years down the road, Love Don't Judge or someone associated, maybe this could be a good fucking follow-up show or something. Maybe I could go dig for these people who have been on Love Don't Judge and dig them up 5-10 years from now and do a show. Maybe it is just for clicks. Well, but that's just it. You don't pull it off, right? When you do something for clicks, it's usually a one-off. But they've now talked about this shit 2 or 3 times. Right? You kind of dispel it. You get icky and then you move on. Like there are things that I've done for clicks But I've made it very clear I'm doing it for clicks and I don't do it again. Like it's my one-off thing. If you do something for clicks, it depends. It depends on what it is. This, no. No, you don't do this creepy shit just for clicks.
In Austin, she said, "You remind me of my JoJo."
Yeah,
her
my
son.
Joel.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, great."
My oldest son, Ben, however, it was not as accepting as my youngest son. It's still a work in progress. Ben is actually coming this weekend. I'm hoping
Well,
that
gee, I
him and
wonder
Alex
why.
can bond a little more and get to know each
Well,
other.
look, your youngest kid's going to see any relationship between adults and be like, look, they're so much older than me. Like, none of them are my peers. So why the fuck do I give a shit? They're just old people. But someone who's practically the same fucking age as your boyfriend, yeah, they're going to have a problem with it.
They're better. I feel like
The
they
bond
would.
and get to know each other better.
My name
Oh
is
my
Ben. I'm 22, and Rachel is my mom. So the way that I found out about Alex was originally one of my friends from high school actually sent me a text, and it had a TikTok in it. And they
Oh
were
my
like,
God.
I'm so sorry.
He found out
I
his mom was
really,
hoeing
really
around
upset.
via
Everybody's
TikTok.
gonna know, like everybody's going to just be trashing on my mom and my family. And so I was really upset at her for not only doing this with Alex, but, making it public so that everybody can see. Because, the video went viral. So I was really upset.
Yes.
How you doing, Ben? What's up, man? How's the drive?
It was all right.
So what did you think when you first found out about Alex? What was one of your reactions?
Originally I was obviously really upset because I found out, through my friend who texted me, and I didn't know what was going on. I was really confused. I just saw the TikTok, it was something about, dating a cougar, stuff like that. And I'm like, Mom, you're putting this out in public. You're a teacher. Every kid has
Oh,
TikTok.
that's just
Everybody's
gross,
gonna see this.
So it was more about the TikTok issue, or was it more about the fact that I was dating a guy that was a lot younger?
Definitely both, especially considering your principal had to make sure that it wasn't a student going there. So
Yeah.
obviously that was somewhat of an issue as well.
Okay, when he says it's definitely both, you have to understand, right? Yes, it's the age gap, but you could overlook the age gap if you again, if you realize, okay, yeah, this age gap might be weird to people, so maybe we won't flaunt it. But the first fucking thing you did was went to the internet. Oh no, come on now.
He's just a couple years older than me.
I don't want to see your hub search there, Salty
I
saying.
definitely do still feel protective over you. As my mom.
Well, good.
Yeah, but I kind of understand a bit more that you shouldn't care as much about what other people think. And so I can kind of understand a little bit more, but obviously I'm still going to be protective over you.
Right.
So
I completely understand where Ben was coming from when he reacted that way to the first.
Stepdad's going to chime in.
You're his mother, and it is a unconventional thing that we're doing. So
I'm sure you get the thoughts that she's maybe your sugar mama
Yeah,
or something
right.
like that. Is definitely not. The high school teacher does not make enough to be a sugar mama.
Here's your 25 cents. Go get your bubble gum.
Well, I'm glad that we've gotten as far as we've gotten. We've come a long way.
Yeah,
from
again, I don't
where
buy
we
it.
originally
I don't
started.
buy it.
And things might.
I think she might be. I think she took your dad for his fucking wealth, and yeah, now she's got a union pension and.
Be a little bit weird, but
Okay,
like
Salty saying you're taking this shit too far, man.
Yeah,
Likewise.
It's gotten definitely a
just
lot better than it initially was at first.
I was pleasantly surprised, and it seems like he's really coming around.
Oh man,
to it.
they drip the wine down the side of the glass.
much
Look,
more
he's
open
too
to
young to even know how to
hanging and
pour a
spending time
fucking
around
glass
me
of
than,
wine.
the first time we met, when he didn't even want to have lunch and sit down with me.
What
Let bygones be
23-year-old
bygones,
drinks red
as
wine
they say.
anyway?
Yeah.
23-year-old man.
Yep. Cheers.
Might as well be drinking Bud Light.
Future for us. I don't know what it holds, but I know
Oh my
that
God.
I'm happy and excited to continue this life with
On our
my
little
baby.
journey.
Yes.
Yes. We've
Yeah.
gone through war together and come out on the
Again,
other
we
side.
didn't get to see a whole lot of their actual relationship. We just saw a bunch of, amorous behavior. And, they seem happy. But again, they seem like they're happy because they're kind of perverted about this thing. I'm not going to hate on them for the age difference because I think that can be overcome. And Boone's Farm is the Bud Light of wine. Yeah. Maybe they were drinking Boone's Farm. Maybe they were drinking MD 2020. That's definitely what I was drinking at age 23. All right, so folks, that's going to be the show for today. Definitely, you know, I don't know. The House of Representatives is just falling apart. Our local governments are adopting. Oh, damn it! See this was another story I planned on covering. My state, the state of Kansas, apparently there's some controversy about some ESG bans. I will try to look into that for the Wednesday show. I'll try to have that ready for the Wednesday show, but apparently that's a big controversy in the state of Kansas right now. It is what it is. So we'll try to have that. So definitely be here 6 p.m. Central Wednesday. Say hello in the chat as always. Cheers to everyone out there in the chat. And another cheers to everyone watching on demand later. Till then, please click that thumbs up button, click that like button. If you're new here, please click the follow or follow me. Down in the description are all my social media and other video accounts. Please follow me around the internet, and I will try to let you know if I have to reschedule any shows, but most of my shows are 6 p.m. Central, Wednesdays and Saturdays, right here wherever you're watching me right now. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you, and if you do, rub that shit in real good. I will see you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. Till then, everybody, have a great weekend. Time for me to go have a little bit of fun. Hope you're having fun as well. Good night.